your essay is well written, but there is one small change you can make in this. There is always scope for improvement, and it, in a sense, it reads like an extended answer to a question for the GS mains paper. So in GS mains paper, the type of very matter of fact answer that you might give, it seems to have that type of a touch. So I'll try to make some points to you which might make things clearer. So first paragraph that appears on your screen now, see, you have written population explosion and rapid industrialization combined with urbanization has resulted in one of the most precious elements being put under stress, water. So, what happens? First thing is the way you have brought water here in this sentence. You could have now let me tell you how this could be, how water should be relocated. So, if at all you want to talk about water, how you should do is you should bring it so do you see the change now? Precious element, that is water. So this is how we use two dashes to explain something. The way you had put water at the end, under stress, comma, water. So that's not how it should be done. So if at all you want to write it like this is how you should bring in water. Okay. Second thing is, the essay is on water crisis. It is not on causes of water crisis. Okay. So when you start by saying population explosion, rapid industrialization, urbanization, they have resulted in water crisis. So it would tend to create an impression that it is an essay on causes of water crisis rather than water crisis itself. So this is a small point, Many people might just ignore this, but it would be more beautiful. Your essay would be much more appealing if your first sentence relates to the water crisis rather than to the causes of water crisis. Already so many people are suffering. You can give some figures, you can talk to the United Nations report, you can talk about India, you can talk about how the present government is seized of this problem. For example, this became the main focus in the Niti Aayog. The Honorable Prime Minister, the President, when the President inaugurated the parliamentary session, he also talked about it. Then there are big cities which are under water crisis now, Chennai for example, and then there are reports that in another couple of years, 40-50 large cities of India might be facing severe water shortage. So when the essay is about water crisis and not about causes of water crisis, then it would be better that your first paragraph focuses on the crisis, okay, on the type of situation which has arisen that makes us call it a crisis. So that would be more relevant. Okay. So this is where you'll be collecting your material for writing the essay, and then you will be reorganizing that material in the light of the title of that essay. For example, now the same essay about water crisis could be asked differently if somebody said it is not nature but human beings themselves who are responsible for the water crisis. So there the entire material that we have collected will have to be presented in a different perspective with a different focus. So the focus there will be on how man has disturbed a natural cycle and has caused this type of problem. So the first paragraph, if you relate it completely to the topic, that would be better for you. It will fetch you better marks. Okay. Yeah. Now let's have a look at your second paragraph, then third paragraph. One by one, we'll go through the paragraphs, and I'll give some overall suggestions, which you can, in the light of which you can then review the whole thing by yourself. Okay. Yeah. Now your second paragraph, let me reproduce it here. Okay. Now here, realizing the importance of this quintessential resource, ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all was explicitly added as one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. 2018 marked one of the worst years for Cape Town, when the city was hit by drought, and the concept of day zero ricocheted around the world to showcase the dwindling water resources, not just in Cape but many other cities. Okay, great. This is a nice paragraph. I think it can go with your essay. So I don't think the only suggestion that I would make here is that since you have quoted something in inverted commas, so you have to be cautious that you are using the exact words. Otherwise, this is not something which has to be necessarily quoted in the original words. So why waste memory on something? There are certain quotations which have to be reproduced as it is. Okay. Now you have given a title, current scenario. So let's look at this section then. Okay, now the country showcases extremities with respect to the disasters associated with water resources. What do you mean by showcases? Showcases is not, showcases is not the showcasing is, you put something in a showcase. For example, a shopkeeper showcases his best product. Something amounts to saying that we are presenting it as something which is very remarkable, something which needs to be appreciated. So showcasing is not a correct word here. Extremities with respect to disasters due to water resources. The city of Chennai, which has hit by heavy floods in 2015, now reeling under one of the worst droughts. Similarly, Kerala hit by so-and-so highest rainfall. Okay, as a country that is heavily dependent on monsoons, both delay, etc., amount rainfall combined conservation has resulted in the current scenario. Combined with mismanagement of water conservation. Okay. This leads to excessive groundwater depletion. According to the fifth minor irrigation census, groundwater has been reduced by 61% between this and this. Okay. Good paragraph, but a slight change is required. What you are trying to say in this paragraph is that it is not that we are really running short of water. So what is happening is that on the one hand we have excess of water, and on the other hand we do not we have water shortage. So it's like having a lot of money and still starving. So basically what you are trying to say in this is that the basic problem is not of shortage but of inadequate utilization or faulty utilization of water, the improper conservation of water. So those are the points which you'll have to bring out clearly rather than, and when you give it the title current scenario, it doesn't really fit that title. rather than current scenario, what you are talking about in this is the crux of the problem. The crux of the problem is you have water and you do not know how to utilize it. We don't have the mechanisms for using it properly. Few of the reasons for drought are, you have given some reasons. Let's have a look at these reasons. You have given some 5-6 reasons, let's say. Okay, now reasons you have given is large scale deforestation and transporting water back to the atmosphere, resulting in warmer and drier conditions despite scientific advancements in climatology. Okay, India being the second most populous country, so population growth is what you are, I think, telling, one of the fastest growing economies in the world, has resulted in over exploitation of the water resources. Yeah, here, what I would suggest is don't combine these two. There is population and economic growth. See, these need to be segregated. What you need to do is, population growth means more water is required for drinking, for irrigation, for cleaning, for other purposes. So that is something, where the population growth is something which is absolutely negative. When you combine it with industrial growth or economic growth, economic growth is something positive. So while we must control population growth, in case of industrial growth, we need not control industrial growth. What we need to do is to develop as a country which is able to grow industrially and economically by using less water and innovation in industrial processes. So you can talk about all those things. So what I would suggest here is that you can you need not combine these two important. So every important point should be different. Then encroachment of catchment areas, ponds, lakes, etc. in the catchment region of Kaveri, widespread clear tree cutting is okay, very good. Though the government has come up with excellent schemes to harvest rainwater, the implementation has not been effective. Few of the water conservation measures that could be undertaken, you have given 4 of these. Let's have a quick run through with these. Okay. One is development of watershed is important towards soil, water, biodiversity, and etc. Biodiversity. Then recharging groundwater by stopping illegal encroachment of lakes and ponds, inviting community participation in rainwater harvesting which ensures success of program. Then ensuring proper legislative measures. Okay, good. These are also good points. Okay, let's go to the next part. Now, steps towards ensuring water security in the country. The government of India has adopted the following steps to combat current water crisis. So one of the flagship programs implemented Ministry of Rural Innovative Watershed Program. Okay, prevention of soil runoff, stock of resources, essential ingredient, effective planning realization. Niti Aayog government think tank has developed the Composite Water Management Index. With water as one of the top development agendas, the Union government has constituted new Jal Shakti Ministry. The Union government is planning to start the Jal Shakti Abhiyan to ramp up. These are all good points, and they give a good touch to. Then next, I think this is your concluding paragraph. Yeah. 12% of India's population is already living the day zero scenario as a result of excessive groundwater pumping and inefficient water management system and years of deficient rains. CWM report states this and implying severe water scarcity, millions of people, eventual 6% loss in the country's GDP. Thus, there is an imminent need to deepen our understanding of water sources and put in place intervention. It's very well written essay, so now the question is how to improve. What I would say is keep this essay with you keep reading more and more, keep adding material to this. So what will happen is, now this becomes a kind of a rough draft for you. This is how you should prepare your essays. That is, you have now prepared this essay, keep it with you, keep adding here and there, keep improving here and there. I will also keep this with me. I will also suggest to you improvements, so that by the time you go for the exam, you would have a very good, well written essay, and with a lot of additional material which you can use to modify the essay in the view of whatever changes they might, whatever changes might be necessitated by the specific topic. So I think it's a very good attempt, and there is definitely, it speaks well of your ability. Okay. So what we'll do is, I'll send you another topic, maybe today or tomorrow, and like this we'll do exercises one by one essay at a time, and you keep these essays. So by the exam, if you have prepared some 50-60 essays like this, then those essays will give you enough material, and because we'll be doing this exercise, so it will give you enough idea of how to reorganize your material, and definitely you'll be able to do well. Okay? Okay, bye. Bye.